Hello and welcome to On Preachy, a podcast of homilies and reflections by the voices of St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Father Ed Hallinan reflects on Matthew chapter 22, verses 1 to 14, the Gospel for Sunday, October 15th, 2023.
Parents with your children, thank you for bringing them this morning. When we come to church, we want to hear good news. We're told that the gospel means good news. It's the proclamation of the kingdom of God. The good news of today's gospel, in fact, all three of the readings, is that God has invited all of you to his feast. God has invited all of us to this celebration. We sometimes wonder, what does God think about me? We sometimes, in our private moments of prayer and thinking, we often ask, how does God think I'm living my life? What does God think about how I'm living my life? Am I a good husband? Am I a good wife? Am I a good father? Am I a good mother? Am I an Eagles fan or Dallas fan? This shows you that Eagles and Dallas fans can love each other, all right? All right. But we wonder, what does God think about me? When my card is pulled and I go to face the Almighty, what's God going to think? Is God going to have a IBM big monitor, bring up my name, date of birth, social security, and geez, 1,000 sins pop up? Are my good things going to pop up? How does God look at me? Well, that gospel today tells us how God looks at us. God invites us to the banquet of his Son, Jesus Christ. And God extends an invitation to everyone. A word that we often hear in life in regards to groups of people that are affiliated with a church, affiliated with a place of learning, a group that's affiliated with a pool, whatever, is cliques. And we often think, I'm not in the clique. Jesus invites everybody. For Jesus, we, those that are invited, we're all one big clique. And when he looks at us, he looks at us with love. And hopefully, that's the motivation you have every Saturday or Sunday when you decide to come to church. You're not necessarily coming because of the commandment, keep holy the Sabbath, even though that's a great reason to come. But the reason that you come is that you are making a choice to respond to God's invitation. So it's so important that when you come into church and you pray, It's so important when you come into church and when we have the penitential rite, you think of things that maybe you didn't do so well during the past week. It's important that besides all of those things, God desires each and every one of us. No matter if we had a good week or we had a bad week, God desires each and every one of us. And no matter how we raise our hand and say, God, I did this, or God, I didn't do this, or God, I misspoke. God, I wish I could have pulled those words back. I judged somebody inaccurately. Lord, how do I get that back? Just by the fact that you share that with God, God embraces you. God welcomes you. I tell you, week in, week out, you are holy. We are God's holy people. And as God's holy people, God rejoices over each and every one of you. So when you continue to pray during this Mass, when you anticipate coming to church next Sunday, when you decide to respond to God's invitation and to come to the banquet, I want you to have a true sense you are loved. You are cherished. If you hear a naysayer say, God, why do you waste your time going to church? They want your money. They want to tell you how bad you are. They speak all these negative things. I go to the Church of Jesus Christ. And when I go to St. John's, I'm told I'm holy. I'm told I'm loved. I try to be generous at St. John's with my time, my treasure, and my talent. But I don't hear the naysaying. I don't hear the negativity. I don't hear hell and brimstone. I hear the good news that Jesus speaks about in the gospel. This isn't Ed Hallinan theology. This is the gospel that was uttered today by Jesus. And so it's so important for you to know, who are struggling to get through every day, that, how about Bryce Harper this week? I love playing in Philly because they are people who try to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and they try to be as good as they can be. I love playing for that fan base. That's how Jesus feels about you. That's how Jesus feels about us. Rejoice in that. God bless you.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.